Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Monday night fun at work discussion. We are just going live here. We've got Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube going, so there might be a slight delay before notifications going out and things like that. So we'll probably just talk for a couple of minutes here. But if you're watching this live, thank you for joining us. And then if you're watching this after the fact, just remember every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to be trying to do a live stream, try and do it every week. And we'll post updates on whichever platform it is that you're watching us on.
It's our New Year's resolution.
Yeah. Plus, it's a lot of fun for us. We go unscripted and we have a topic that we kind of come up with and we just kind of roll with it from there. So we've done see, we did 2 weeks ago, we did one on customer service. Last week, we talked about staff meetings or team meetings, huddles, things like that. Ways to keep your meetings productive and engaging and not a waste of time. So if you haven't seen either of those, go watch those. Have that on in the background while you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. Tonight, we're going to talk about discounts and using discounts as sales tools, or is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? It's really just coming down to a sales perspective of what's right, what's wrong.
Yeah, and we should probably clarify from the beginning. There's basically two different discounts. It's completely fine to run a sale.
Right.
Like you're having a clearance sale, or it's a new release promotional sale or something like that. But where we've seen a lot of reps kind of spin out at the close is all of a sudden the prospect is complaining about the price. I think I can get it cheaper somewhere else. And then the rep just starts taking out a magic marker to the proposal, scratching it out, giving it away. And Neil and I have seen some reps actually get so caught up in getting the sale that they sell it for less than what it's going to cost the owner to deliver. So
yeah, or it's the owner doing the selling. And
that's even a better example. The owner is taking out a magic marker and slashing the price. And when it's all said and done, the owner would have been better off for this prospect to just go somewhere else because they're going to end up losing money on this sale.
Yeah.
So,
and I want to talk about what you mentioned there, where you said it's one thing to have a sale, which is a coordinated group activity or company-wide effort to move stock or promotion for different things. Because a lot of times when we do videos on the channel about selling and we talk about discounts and all this stuff, people blow up the comments forgetting that not everything is bought on Amazon by clicking add to cart. Like people still go out there and sell services, and it's not all done through digital avenues, which just kind of blows my mind that people still think that literally you just buy everything online. Like, I would actually say that it's a lot less of the things that you buy online than you actually buy from a business or whatever. So we're talking about if you're selling a product and you basically don't really know how to sell the product, and so therefore you start giving away things that you shouldn't be in an effort to get business. And that's what we really want to kind of talk about here. So I would say that the first thing to go over, or my first thought is, well, I guess I have a lot of thoughts. But
you and I have done several rants about this. This could go on 2 or 3 hours here tonight.
Yeah, we're going to try and not go on for 2-3 hours. But, if you just base your entire ability to sell a product or to get customers based off of price, you've already lost, because nothing is further from the truth. So if you have a product and the first thing you do to get a sale is to start slashing prices in an effort to get that business, you're putting yourself really, really, really behind. And I've seen a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm going to sell this guy this at a discount, and then he's going to come back and do more business with me. And they think that the next time he shows up, he's going to pay full price or something like that. And it's like, you've already given the guy one discount. You're not going to sell him the next one at any worse of a loss than you already did, because you just proved to him that you can't sell your product. And he's not going to accept it at full price. So you put yourself in a situation where you just keep servicing the same people at a discounted price because that's the only way that they ever buy anything.
Yep. And I will tell you this with regards to the discount, and this is definitely on our checklist of things to go over tonight. So let's say the item is $1,000, and they say, you know what? If you take 800, we're good. And the owner or the sales rep goes, sold. The first thing that goes through their mind, they're not happy. They're not happy. The first thing that goes through their mind is, dang, what would have happened if I'd have said 6?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that was stupid of me. I should have started at 6.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted 8, so that was dumb. Not like, whoa, I am so happy. I'm referring all my friends, and this is an amazing product, an amazing service. I love this company. They're going to walk away with regret even after you gave them exactly what they wanted.
Yep.
So once you start to make it about the price instead about the product or service and the value that you bring to it, I kind of equate it to golf. I used to golf a lot when I was younger, and I could go out and shoot the best round of my life, but they're still like, oh, that one putt. And so it's like, if they have to have it negotiated, etc., at the best price, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to refer. Neil's exactly right. When they come back, you're like, well, they ought to come back and buy something else. Or when they come back, they're definitely not paying full price.
Yep.
And you, just because you sold the last one for 800, now they're coming back to get another one in a few weeks. They're definitely going to want the other one at 600. Because we didn't ask for 600 the last time, and they're pretty sure that you'd let them have it for 6. So it really is kind of like circling the drain.
Yeah.
As you're starting to discount things just to get the close.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's your ability to sell and communicate that's going to get people to pay for a product. It's not the price of the product necessarily. Now, I have met companies who intentionally overprice things just so that they can say, I'm going to give you a discount and make the person feel good. I can kind of see that.
Yep.
But then you run into a problem where, if that's your actual standard operating basis, you're admitting to anybody who did pay full price that you ripped them off. So there's a catch-22 involved, where if it's like, well, I tell people it's 5,000, but I really know that I'm going to sell it for 4,000. And then I come along and you say 5, and I go, okay, and I pay you 5,000. Well, now you've ripped me off by accepting the 5,000 when you give it to everybody else for 4,000. And
you don't feel good about that.
Well, the salesperson or the business owner shouldn't feel good about that.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The actual owner of the company.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I hope the $5,000 guy doesn't talk to the $4,000 guy.
Right. Exactly.
There's no way to run a company. It's no way to have fun at work.
No, it's not fun at all. Because if your job and whatever it is that you're selling is to provide a quality product and service that achieves some means to an end. So it could be a car, it could be art, it could be landscaping, it could be whatever it is. But if your job in selling that is to help the person get their vision and get what it is that they're doing so that they're happy, then you cannot just try and run around and just try and get every dollar that you can.
Mm-hmm.
And if people aren't buying your product or service from you that you think is really good, then either your product or service isn't as good as you think it is, or you're just not communicating it enough to get people to pay for the value and the quality of that product.
Absolutely.
So you have to be able to look at it from those points of view.
And, I talked earlier about, so you can have a sale, you can have a clearance sale, you can have a product promotion, some sort of a sale. You promote the sale, you send it out on flyers, all of that. So that has a stated purpose. But there is one discount that I actually offered and offer all the time, is what we call a bookkeeping or paid in full discount.
Yep.
So in my dental office, if you were going to pay in full, then you save me stamps, you save me billing for my staff, the paperwork, the stuffing. So that was a bookkeeping discount, and I gave a 5% bookkeeping discount. So I am still getting something for that discount. It's not just money I'm throwing away out of my pocket.
Right.
So what I am receiving is, I'm receiving money now. It goes in the bank today. There's always the time value of money. If this could have ended up an account that ends up going to collections, because it happens where people make a purchase and, yeah, I'm going to pay you next month. I'm going to half now, half then. The water heater breaks. The car needs tires. Life happens. And then you now have a problem. You're not going to, like, it's $1,000. So give me 500 now and 500 in a month. That 500 is at risk.
Yep.
And so if something happens in their life and they can't give you the 500, and then if this was a life-changing event, I don't know, they're going to go through a divorce now. You're not going to get your 500. Well, there was value in giving 5% off and getting $50 off to prevent life now from risking that other part of the deal. So for me, there's some exchange. There's something going back and forth. So people would say, I want another 5% or whatever. And so then what are you going to give me? You want another 5%? What am I getting?
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So there has to be something in it that they are surrendering, not just me taking money out of my pocket and giving it to them.
But also that 5% discount is available to everybody. It's not
Right.
right. It's not just something that you're trying to do for one person that then, spirals out of control. Like, oh man, I hope he doesn't go talk to somebody else, or I hope, hope his neighbor doesn't understand that he's getting the same thing every week from me at $10 less or whatever.
Exactly.
You're offering it to everybody of like, okay, well, it's $1,000, but I offer a 5% paid in full discount. So it'd be $950. What would you rather do? And I've had people in the past try and, oh, well, you can do better or whatever. I say, well, you've got two options. You can pay me 1,000 or you can pay me 950. Which would you prefer?
Mhm.
It's just like, that's just like, that is what it is. Those are your two options. Which would you rather pay 950 or would you rather pay 1,000 over two payments, whatever it is that you're talking about? But that's the way it has to be done.
Yep. And so then the emphasis needs to be, if they want some sort of a discount, they want some sort of a deal, the emphasis then needs to be on why the price, to me, why the price is the price.
Right.
And say, well, I can get it cheaper somewhere else. I'm like, you probably can. If you're looking for the cheapest in town, I'm not your man. And that's just been my standard line, because I feel like my price then puts me in a position where I can out customer service the competition.
Right.
So that because I have this extra wiggle room, I can deliver it faster, I can deliver it better, I can give them more than what they would get with the cheaper price somewhere else. So then for the owner, when pricing products and services, and for the sales rep, when selling products and services, first of all, you have to be sold on the price that you're charging. And you have to know that that is what you're delivering and why it's priced like that. And then you can be proud.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'll say is that, okay, let's say I build chairs for people, and my chair is, $4,000, whatever. It's a good chair. Okay. So I build chairs and it's $4,000 and I put 50 hours of work into this chair for $5,000. Okay. I'm just making up numbers here,
Yeah.
but it takes me 50 hours to put this chair together. It's $5,000. And I cave to somebody because rent is due and I sell it for $3,000. Okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to put 30 hours worth of work into it and you're going to be pissed off the whole freaking time.
Mhm.
You're going to cut corners. It's going to look like crap and you're going to go, "Oh well, he only paid $3,000 for it." And you're going to deliver a crap chair, which is now no longer a marketing piece of your excellence and quality because you don't care because you took $3,000 for your chair instead of $5,000 for the chair. That's on you.
And you
So,
saw the one on the showroom floor that you didn't spend 50 hours on, you spent 100 hours on.
exactly.
and so now he thinks he's getting the one that he saw on the showroom floor. And you're like, well, he's not paying me for but you didn't tell him he's not paying for that one.
Right.
You took the 3,000. So now you're going to give him a $3,000 chair instead of the $5,000 chair that looks like a $10,000 chair. So your story is perfect.
Yeah. So if I make a chair for 5,000, somebody wants to pay 3,000. I go, well, I can do a chair for 3,000, but I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to use the greatest wood. I'm going to make it out of this. I'm going to do this instead of this. They go, no, 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 no. I want that. Okay, well, that's $5,000.
Exactly.
But I want it for $3,000. Well, I can't do it for $3,000. I have to use that wood and in this style because that's a $5,000 chair.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And if they don't want it, then they don't want it.
Right. And then you let them walk. And then you don't have the problem of trying to create a $3,000 chair that looks like a $5,000 chair.
Right. And you put your effort and quality into doing something that you love to do rather than building a chair that you're doing resentfully.
Yeah. And so like if we circle back around, I tell this story a lot in my dental practice where my fees were basically 25% higher than most everyone else around. And I had no problem with that because, and I'll tell you why I had no problem with that. Number one, we ran on time.
Mm.
You know, it's kind of like I'll talk to dentists and they're like, yeah, we're usually running an hour behind. I'm like, dude, that's not good. That's not good. Well, you know, they always wait when they go to the medical doctor's office. And I'll just tell you, like, that is not my standard.
Yeah. Well, when people get an oil change, it's never actually 15 minutes. Like, well, that's not exactly the same.
Right, exactly. So in my practice, you didn't wait. If we were 10 minutes behind, I'm telling you, everybody's panicked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whoa, we're 10 minutes behind. How do we get caught up? What do we, you know? And the other thing that I did then is because I was getting that extra bit, then I always used the best materials. It had nothing to do with the price it was going to cost me. The best filling material, the best impression material, the best labs, not the cheapest labs. And so if you're getting something for that discount, because right now I'm telling you, you know, a dental lab here in the United States might charge $150 for something, and there are dentists who are sending it to China for $19. I can promise you it's not the same.
Yep.
It's not the same. And so, but the doctor, but here's where buyer beware. The patient doesn't know that it's being sent to China. The patient doesn't know that it's less. And so then that for me would give me a problem. So what I did to avoid that problem is I always did everything in the patient's mouth the way I would do it for a relative or a loved one or a friend. And then that meant I have to charge for it. And I know that there were people who wouldn't come to me because of my fees, but I'm completely fine with having that reputation. And I would have to defend it. And I guess that's the point here that I'm trying to make is I could defend my price. And I had to. People would say, well, you know, can I get this cheaper elsewhere? I'm like, of course you can. And let me tell this story because this is also a very pertinent story. So at the time, and this was back in the early 80s, I was making dentures, and I believe my fee, I don't recall exactly, but I think it was $800 for an upper and a lower set of dentures. And I think my lab bill was $300 or something in that zone, 250, 300. And so a new denture patient comes in and he has a newspaper underneath his arm. He's reading it. And so I walk in, he takes a newspaper, he puts it under his arm. I'm doing my exam. I tell him my price. And he goes, really? That's kind of expensive. And I'm like, well, my fee is my fee. So he takes the newspaper. It's a South Bend Tribune. Here's a full page ad for upper and lower dentures for $200 in North Carolina. In North Carolina. Now, South Bend, Indiana is almost into Michigan. It is a 16-hour drive. One way. Overnight dentures for $200. And he's like, well, I can go here and get it for $200. And I'm like, my dad does not need a denture. But if my dad did need a denture, I'm not going to charge him. I'm going to pay my laboratory technician more to make my dad's free denture than you're going to pay for that one in North Carolina. I'd be a little concerned about the craftsmanship and the quality of the denture. And he looks at me, he looks at the paper, he looks at me, he looks at the paper, and he goes, I'm kind of thinking I need to go to North Carolina. I'm kind of thinking you're right.
I think so.
And then I knew what would happen because he's going to go there and he's going to drive 16 hours there, 16 hours back. And if he can do that all in one day at his age, God bless him, he's going to have at least one night in a hotel, Motel 6, probably. He can eat a McDonald's, but he's got food, he's got lodging, he's got gas, and he's got 32 hours in the car. And then when he comes back and it hurts in 48 hours,
who's he going to?
He's going to want to call me. So as I'm ushering him out, which by the way, I took an x-ray and did not charge him.
Yeah.
It's normally $32. I'm like, the x-ray is on the house. And just so you know, an adjustment on a denture that I make is $50. So I knew he wouldn't come back, but I'm just saying, rather than sit there and try and figure out, well, maybe this guy could make the denture for less and maybe I could still make $25. I mean, anyway, I'm belaboring the point, but the point is that as an owner and as a rep, you need to believe in the product and you need to believe in the price. And then when somebody challenges you, you need to be able to defend that. And then if they're going to choose the price is more important than your product, service, or its delivery, then so be it. And I'm sure the guy went to North Carolina and got his cheap denture.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things where your goal in business has to be to solve the problem of the person, not to make the money. So if you're going out just trying to make money, you're going to fall way behind and not have any money. But if your goal is to service them the right way, then you're going to do fine. Because in your case, you could have done a denture for $200.
I guess it would have been possible.
You could have.
Yeah.
You would have lost $50.
Yeah, exactly.
And then your time.
Yeah, but then I'm like, oh, I can't pay my regular good lab guy. So there's a lab, instead of South Bend, there's a lab in Indianapolis, and they're half the price. But I've never used that lab before. I have no idea if their product is going to be even worth it. So then now, if we just roll with it, okay, so I can still make like $100 on this thing if I use that lab. But then this is not what I'm used to. Then I have to send it back, and then I've got to adjust it more. And so it's just, it really can't ever be about the money.
But that's what I mean is your goal wasn't about the money. Your goal was about providing the best service that you could at the right price. And you knew this guy, okay, first off, we know he didn't get in a car and drive to North Carolina. What really happened is he didn't do anything. That's what really happened.
Probably true.
Yeah, he didn't go anywhere because he's not getting in the car to drive to North Carolina. He just went nowhere and did nothing at all. So, but my point is that, yes, you could have done it for $200 and lost $50 and said, well, maybe he's going to go out and tell his friends and, I'm going to make money off of it later. Probably not.
And, I just had another thought when you said your job is to solve their problem.
Yeah.
Except one problem. If their problem is I have to find it the cheapest, you don't have to help them solve that problem. They can solve that problem at another vendor, at another
Yeah.
provider, and let somebody else lose money on this troublemaking
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. Let somebody else dive into it, and you know they'll complain about this guy coming down the street that you know.
Yeah.
And what's also funny, let's say that guy did go somewhere else.
Mhm.
Let's say he did go to another dentist and said, "Oh, Dr. Winteregg's charging $800 for dentures." And this dentist talks this guy into doing a denture, let's say $400.
Okay.
Okay. That other dentist is going, man, Dr. Winteregg is such a moron for charging $800. I just got $400 from this guy. But in reality, you had a patient leave that didn't have the same vision as you
Right.
and therefore didn't need to be a patient of yours if he wasn't going to actually do what he needed to do to keep his teeth healthy and all that kind of stuff.
And I had no problem with him going and being a patient somewhere else.
Exactly.
No problem. And it's his right as, the customer to be able to find the person who will do it cheapest. I'm just saying it's not going to be me.
Yeah. And if you're doing everything at the cheapest, then you're harming your business. I mean, we have a landscaper that we work with here at Matterhorn. And when we picked him up, he wasn't making hardly any money. And so what did we do? We started looking at all of his clients, and he had all these clients that he was charging really old pricing to. And those older pricing patients or customers are right across the street from the new customers who are paying, let's say, $20 a month more. And so we did the math and we said, well, if you drop these guys who aren't paying you enough, you actually make more money because you're doing less work and you're not having the same expenses. And so he actually grew his company by getting rid of the people that he was undercharging for all those years.
Well, and that reminds me, and I have made a video on this that's on our channel. By the way, if you haven't subscribed, Matterhorn Business Development on YouTube, go subscribe. So this is the book Profit First. I think you all know by now we're Profit First professionals certified by the author Mike Michalowicz. And so if you have the book, you can go to page 142. And this is such an awesome story. So a study facilitated by the Chicago-based growth consulting firm Strategex. That's Strategex. I went online, looked it up, been around forever. It's a family business, kind of like this. The owner looks like this, and his kid looks like that, like Neil. So anyway, they analyzed the revenue, cost, and profit breakdown for 1,000 companies. So what these guys do is they go in and help streamline the business. I think it's more product driven. We're more service driven. But so this is no small study. They evaluated revenue, which is income, cost, and profit for 1,000 companies. What they found was nothing short of a duh moment, as in the duh, I already knew this, but I still haven't done anything about it. Strategex sorted the clients for each company into 4 sections in descending order based on revenue. So the top, let's say there's 100 clients. We made these top 25 gave us the most revenue, and then the next 25 gave us the second most, third most, and then the bottom 25 gave us the least total income. Then he says, for example, if a company had 100 clients, the 25 clients who generated the most revenue were put in the top quarter, the next 25 highest the second quarter, etc. Strategex found that the top quarter generated 89% of the total revenue. I'm like, what? 89% came from the top 25 clients. That leaves 11% revenue to come from 75. The lowest quarter only accounted for a meager 1% of the revenue. It gets worse. This is what the author says. It gets worse. The study found that each group of clients required pretty much the same amount of effort, cost, and time. This means that it took the same amount of effort to serve a big revenue client as it did a client who barely affected revenue at all. Then came the awkward gulp moment. Strategex's profit analysis showed that the top quarter generated 150% of the company's profit. And you can't have 150% of anything. The two middle quarters were effectively break even. And the bottom quarter, the one that generated 1% of the total revenue, resulted in a profit loss of 50%.
Yep. Well, you remember some years ago, I won't leave any names or location. I'll leave names and locations out of the story. You and I went and did a pretty in-depth analysis at a coffee roasting company.
Yeah.
Very large, very large.
Very large.
I forget how many millions of pounds of beans they were roasting, but it was massive.
Yep.
They had two gigantic roasters about the size of dump trucks that could do like 300 pounds of beans in 15 minutes each or something ridiculous.
They could produce.
They could produce a lot of coffee. And they were figuring out where all the money was going. So we looked at all of their top clients. And in reality, I would say 90% of the income was coming from only about 20 or 30 accounts.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more than that. And not very many.
Not very, but they probably, I'm trying to remember how many accounts they had. But it seems to me like it was 400 or 500.
Yeah, so they had 400 or 500 accounts, and they handed us a printout of, a piece of paper, a stack of paper, let's say 20, 30 pages, and basically all the revenue was really coming from the first 2 pages of this report, and the other 28 pages was individual gas stations, individual, a company with 4 people in it that they stocked with coffee once every 10 days or whatever, and basically we did the math and found out that the amount of effort it took to deliver the coffee to this one company of 4 people with their little stir sticks and their little creamers, they were losing money just by putting the guy in a car and driving him out there to drop it off. And they go, well, he's on a route and he's doing this route of deliveries. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
That's a $20 account every other week. And, it's like the idea of getting rid of those small accounts basically sent the owners into an aneurysm, and we never heard from them again because they couldn't understand that they were wasting all of their resources into these tiny little accounts. They could have gotten rid of one of the roasters, half of the staff, and kept those 2 pages of accounts happy for the next 30 years, and they would have
profit.
They would have 4x the profit because it would have been actual profit at that point. But people get so freaked out about, oh, we got to pick up this new account. And so even in that situation with the coffee roasters, you take $1 or $2 off of that account each week just to get that new account. And it's like, okay, well, the only $1 or $2 of profit that account was even going to be, you just gave away. So why are we paying employees to stock it and roast it and package it when you don't even need to?
And the top 25%, that top quarter of the accounts, they love you, they refer, you can mess up, and they go, no problem. You're like, hey, the next order is free. All right, you don't have to do that. But they are just the best clients for you. And so why then lose money on the other 75 accounts? So this kind of circling back to the owner now, when it comes time to set your prices, just please forget about the money and just set the bar at customer service higher. And I'll tell you this, and I'm not going to get off on a whole other tangent, but the hardest thing to do is to beat the competitor's price. Like, they can do it for this, and you can do that, but anything you do to lower it, that's just profit right out of your pocket. The easiest way to beat the competition is with service. That's and the quality of the product, because as they're heading down the price scale, cheaper, they have to cut corners on service and quality. So then you don't compete on price. you compete on service and quality. And so, just like in my dental practice, we stick with that example. I delivered it faster. In a 5 county area, if a patient, I had to send something to the lab, I got it back in 7 days or 10. In the 5 county area, the standard waiting time was 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so I justified in my heart and in my mind that it was worth more because I was delivering more. I was delivering it faster.
And I will say, if you are going to look at these accounts that are losing you money and you're trying to figure out how to make more money, or you're trying to figure out how to make more profit, but you don't want to get rid of those accounts, figure out a way to increase your profitability on that account by changing or doing something different. You
Mhm.
know, I think a good example is you've heard of Dollar Shave Club before, get the
Right.
razors in the mail.
Yeah.
So I've been with Dollar Shave Club since like 2012.
Since it really was $1.
Well, you can still do it for $1. They just
Oh, you
suck.
can't.
So yeah, um, I do it for $8 a month.
Okay.
I get the executive razor blades.
Wow.
So I'm an executive. So
Good for you,
I get
Neil.
the executive blades.
You hit the big time.
But here's what Dollar Shave Club did that I thought was really interesting. So you used to get a little package in the mail every month with the blades for that month, and you would have 4 blades, so you would use one every week or whatever, right? So then they started expanding out into more than just razor blades. So let's say they're making, I don't know, when it's all said and done with razor blades and shipping and postage, you're probably only making like 25, 30 cents an account or something like that. So
Mhm.
then you start offering more services and more products. So then they started adding in deodorant and soap. And I mean, now you can go there and get anything that you need in the bathroom as a man.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, crazy amounts of stuff. But then what they did maybe 18 months or so ago was instead of getting a package every month, you got one every quarter. So what did they actually do?
They
They
slashed,
actually
they slashed their shipping costs.
slashed the shipping costs. It's a bigger box,
Yeah.
but it's actually probably not that much more expensive to ship it
It's not
than
triple.
exactly. And so
Brilliant.
now every month, or you log into your account and you say what you want for the month. I want soap, I want this, I want toothbrushes, all this stuff, and then it just shows up every quarter with all of your new stuff. So they figured out a way, it's by adding products, but then they figure out how to slash their shipping.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's just a way of figuring out, well, how do we better service and make more money? And
Yep.
so I think every business could figure that out in some way. Like if we go back to the coffee roasters,
Yeah.
it's quite possible that if the coffee roasters shipped the products rather than paid delivery guys to go out and do it, they might actually make more money
Mhm.
if they just had it set up where the post office showed up every day and took all the shipments. It's
Yeah.
probably cheaper to do it that way than it is to have the delivery guys running an hour, 2, 3 hours away to drop off 3 pounds of coffee at a gas station in the middle of nowhere.
No, you're right.
And
You're
then
right.
you keep the account and you make maybe a little bit more profit off of it. But um, I don't know. If you really want to hold on to those accounts, then you have to figure out a way to, change your approach to it.
You have to make a profit.
Yep. And
Okay.
one other thing I will say, because we're already at like 38 minutes here.
Okay.
Um, let's say you do have somebody who really wants a discount. Okay, but the price is the price. So what I've always done is I've always tried to find a way to make the person feel like they're getting something more for their money
Mhm.
so that they pay you now, and the price is no longer as much of a factor because they're getting something special,
So
like what
give an example.
um so you go, okay, listen, here's what I can do. I can't change the price on it, okay? But what I will let you do is you know, I will, if you get it done today, I'll make sure that the product comes. I can get you in the books 1 week earlier for your delivery time. So
Huh.
instead of having to wait this, we'll fit it in at that time period that you want it at. You find a way, which a lot of times when I'm doing something like that, it's not anything that's unusual or different. It's just a way of communicating it differently to the person to make them feel like they got something extra out of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
I think that's brilliant. I've done the same thing for sure.
If you're a landscaper, you go, you know what? I can do it at that price. I'll get you into the rotation next week. And when I come in, I'll trim that extra hedge for you because it's really out of control. Okay. You find a way to feel like they're getting something more right now that they wouldn't get before.
So basically, what you're talking about is they want a better deal, but the
Yep.
better deal is not going to be giving up income or revenue.
Right.
Or it's not going to be cheaper. The better deal is they're getting something more without paying for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You throw something in that makes them feel like they're special in some way, or something that you can actually do that doesn't cost you more money, but it's how you approach it. It's how you
It's still a
communicate.
value add.
Yeah.
It's still a value add. And maybe
Yep.
it's going to cost you $10 more in, I don't know, time to trim the extra hedge, but you're going to end up with you're going to make another $100 on the price. So then that was worth it.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah. Something along that type
Yeah.
of a line is totally fine.
Yep.
Now, anybody that is watching live still, just so you know, we do have a new training program that is kicked off the second wave of people. It's called the Adventure to Profit. If you go to adventuretoprofit.com, you can apply to work with us. So go to adventuretoprofit.com. If you're watching this on a delay on YouTube, there should be a link down below. But that's where you can go. You can apply, work with us directly, strategically. If you sign up today, I'm just kidding.
If you sign up today, Neil pays your first month of tuition.
If you sign up today, you get I'll put Dr. Winteregg on the phone with you right now, and a signed book. But it's just finding a way when it comes down to it is figuring out how to make the person feel like they're getting something more for the money. We talked a couple of weeks ago about my extra business that I have where we sell water filtration and pool filtration and things like that. And so I had a customer recently who asked me, I'm really concerned about X, Y, and Z in my water. Is there anything you can do about it? I said, you know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll use a different pre-filter that goes onto there that really gets that. Oh, wow, that'd be great. Right. Didn't cost me anything different. I just put a different one on there that let him know that it handled his concern. And, he felt good about it. It might have cost me a couple extra dollars, but not really. And that helped him feel like what he was paying for was going to help him solve the problem that he was trying to solve. So
Perfect.
You can figure things out with that.
Yep. Perfect. Love it.
All right.
Does anybody have any comments, questions before we sign off here?
Nobody has typed anything into any of the comment boxes yet, but if they do, we will address it. If you are watching this on the delay, go ahead, leave some comments down below or questions. If you have a certain topic that you want us to address on the next Fun at Work episode next Monday, leave the comments down below. Say, hey, could you discuss XYZ? And then we have some new topics to talk about each week. We want to address different things about work, about business, etc. As my dad said there, he's got a copy of Profit First there by Mike Michalowicz. That is going to really ding in why discounts hurt your business on the bottom line, because you're really taking money out of your own pocket. And also, you can kind of see it in the back there. You got Fun at Work by Dr. Greg Winteregg. There he is. Hey, that guy kind of looks like you.
Plagiarism.
Does he have to pay you a royalty?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you can go online, Fun at Work by Dr. Greg Winteregg. There's an audio book. There's a Kindle version of it. You can find anything that you need there to have more fun at work.
And along that line, we also have on our YouTube channel, we have a Fun at Work playlist and we have a Profit First playlist also.
Yep. We did get some comment, but I think it's in German or Dutch, so I can't understand what it is, but welcome. The chat.
I used to be able to read a little bit of German.
Yeah, it's something about the chat Dutch.
It's
He's
not
asking.
Deutsch
He's
is
ask.
German.
Yeah, he's asking if the chat is in German, probably. And
Uh,
yes, unfortunately, sir, the chat is in German, and my German is terrible. My singing ability is better than my German, and my singing ability is non-existent. So that's not, Um, but anyway, yeah, we're going to be back every week, hopefully, at least once a week, doing a live broadcast with different topics and subjects. We're trying to do Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're usually both available at that time. If something comes up, we're not available. Just look for posts through YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, through the community tabs, and you'll see when our next one is going to be. But that was our discussion about discounts as well as some other things.
He just said, no, I said the chat is now under German occupancy.
Oh, okay.
That is funny.
That is funny.
That is funny.
We're not allowed to talk about German occupancies. I think that'll get us taken off of YouTube. So I can't say any jokes. I can't comment on the words German and occupancy or Russian or communist. Oh, I've gone too far.
Uh-oh.
We've just been striked from YouTube. Um,
Oh, that's hilarious.
that's funny.
Great sense of humor.
Yeah. So anyway, look back for us next Monday at 7. Like I said, leave some comments down below. We're always looking for new topics and subjects. I don't know what next Monday is going to be about, so if you give us a good idea, then maybe we will bring it up and tell your friends to tune in as well. We're just trying to do something a little bit different here. This is me and Greg just being off the cuff and not restricted,
Yep.
and just sort of natural. I mean, I think people are usually surprised when they find out that our YouTube stuff that we do is totally off the cuff. They usually think that we have a script or a agenda. What they're seeing really is just us coming up with a topic and then just rolling with it. You and I have been working together for so long that I know how you think and you know how I think.
For sure.
Which, by the way, we just filmed something today that'll go up next week, where
Awesome.
Greg read a news article headline to me knowing exactly what I was going to say, and that's exactly what I said, and it turned out to be a pretty good video. So that'll be up next week. It was about business owners being concerned about a number of people not wanting to come back to work if they can't work remotely from home.
Right.
I said some mean things that I do not regret, and you'll look for that next week. So stay tuned to the channel. We're still doing 2 videos a week plus a live stream, so you get 3 videos of us every week. And we look forward to seeing you next week. So that's all I have to say. Do you got anything you want to say?
Nope. Signing off. Have a good one.
Okay, good. Have fun. Have fun at work this week, and we'll see you next week. Bye.